All men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights.
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
If liberty means anything at all, it means the right to tell people what they do not want to hear.
Make America great again.
The Big Mig.
All right, good morning and welcome back to the Big Mig Show. Of course, I'm your host, Lance Miliaccio, with my co-host, George Ballantine. My ride or die tip of the spear. It's how we do it on this show because, of course, it's always better to be hurt by the truth than comforted with a lie. George B.
Yes, Lance.
What's going on, bro?
Well, first, I want to thank the Mike Schwartz Show because he just rated our stream, so we appreciate him. He's one of our brothers. He's a friend of ours, if you know what I mean. So make sure you go follow and support his show. Make sure you go follow and support his show, the Mike Schwartz Show. And I promise you, he's not Jewish. He's Italian. Just saying.
Yeah.
Didn't we change
his name? I thought we changed his name on our last show.
Oh, Schwartzeroni or something, yeah.
Schwartzeroni, isn't it?
That was Video Pizza that did that. Came over down.
Yeah, that was good. Schwartzeroni's good. I think he needs a vowel on the end. That's the problem. People aren't used to an Italian name without a vowel on the end. You know, that's always been the identifier, is the vowel on the end.
Yep.
So we're gonna have to work on that. We'll have to get Mike. Maybe we can do a little crowdfunding campaign. Get him an attorney for a name change. And we can make it official. Get him officially so everybody knows he's Italian and it's designated officially.
The Mike Schwartzeroni Show.
It has a nice ring. Hey, it has a nice ring. All right. Well, anyway, look.
Oh, man.
We're here. We're doing what we do. You know how it goes on this show. We go after everybody. We're going to keep talking about Epstein till somebody besides Maxwell gets arrested. I don't care whether there's a war in Iran or not. At the end of the day, it is what it is. We're going to go all in constantly. So you can count on us for that. Of course, if you like the show, you know what to do. Thumbs up, comment, share, subscribe. One of the most important things you can do for us while the show's going on is sharing that live link on your own social media. It's a big deal to us. It helps us get new followers. We're one of the fastest growing shows in the Rumble headquarters. So we appreciate anything you guys could do to help us continue in that model. And also letting Rumble know you like the show. You can always email them, and you can always go head over to Chris's feed over in X. Jump in there and tell them, man, we love those guys on the Big Mig Show and the Crypto Power Hour. Of course, if you haven't joined the Crypto Power Hour, #1 crypto show on Rumble, 7 a.m. on Wednesdays. I know it's early, but it's really early when I have to do that show. You guys know I'm 2 hours ahead of George. He's East Coast, that's East Coast time. And of course, it's Wednesdays and Fridays. If you want to learn about crypto, listen, don't worry about all this meltdown stuff. You know, this is typical of stock market and everything else. I know the stock market's just tanking, but what did you expect? Strait of Hormuz. I mean, you knew this was going to happen. I mean, at the end of the day,
what do you mean it's tanking?
Stock market.
Not tanking.
We'll take a look. It was down today. I'm pretty sure that's what I read earlier.
Okay, but it's not tanking. Down, okay. It's understandable, but not tanking, bro. Come on.
I don't know. They said they wiped out a bunch of money this morning. I saw somebody talking about it. Big numbers got wiped out. But anyway, it doesn't matter. That's stocks. That's crypto. You're going to get up and down. You got to be into the buy and hold strategy. You know, at the end of the day, buy the projects that matter, just like buying the stocks that matter. I know they're all talking about how oil is going to go through the roof. Of course, that sucks because our gas just went down, right? We just got it down at the pumps. Now we're going to go back up. You know, that's the problem. Of course, when things like this happen, that's part of it. At the end of the day, it is what it is. And, you know, George and I love our crypto, but we also love our gold and silver. One of our longest sponsors, the Genesis Gold Group, guys. We love them. If you're buying gold or silver for your IRA, if you're buying gold and silver just to hold, these are the guys to go to. And add a few of these into your mix. This is the Prepper Bar, 62.2 grams of gold or silver. And you can see as I tilt it there, you can break it down. You can just snap off a small piece if you make the payment. Much better way to make payments because, of course, what are you going to do? Carry around those tin snips or some way to chop up a 1 ounce coin if you had to make payments with it? No. It's great to have some of these in the mix. And I don't care whether it's for diversification, asset protection from inflation, economic turmoil, or it's extremely unique utility for barter and trade. Prepper Bar, it's perfect gift. Nobody's going to be unhappy about gold and silver. And you know, when there's when there's uncertainty, gold and silver always goes up. Silver's back going up, gold's going up. You know, let me tell you something. These are great for everybody. It's not just precious metal lovers. So these are mined and minted in the great US of A. They always sell out fast. They've got them in stock. I checked this morning like I usually do before I come on the show. And they come with an assay report. So no counterfeit. Crap loads, and I do mean crap loads of counterfeit gold and silver up on eBay. You have to be extremely cautious of who you're buying your gold and silver from. They're salting the bars. So even when you test them, they kind of seem real until you go to one of the big firms to sell it. And of course, they're going to test it much more conclusively. They've got better equipment. What happens? You got counterfeit, you got nothing, you got ungats. So these are available right now. You can head over to the bigmigbar.com. That's right, the bigmigbar.com. You can use all caps prepper, PRE, PPER. That's PRE, PPR. That'll get you 10% off on the silver and 5% off on the gold, which 5% off on the gold is a big number. So the bigmigbar.com, or you can call them 888-526-7154, 888-526-7154, or take a snapshot of that QR code. You know, George does it the technical way. Go there after the show. Pick up a few. It'll give you some peace of mind. Stick them in the gun safe, you know, or wherever you're going to hide your stuff, and have them just in case. It's always a good backup plan. Thebigmigbar.com.
Break me off a piece of that prepper bar. Lance, I have a breaking news announcement. Hold on, let me just put it up on the screen so that people can see it.
Yes.
We have a new supporter. C. Killian 67 Schwartz BW. Whatever that means, I don't know. That's a long name.
Dude, that's like a long code
Might
name.
have to just change it to 67 Schwarzeroni, maybe. If it's one of the Schwartz crew. I don't know. Just saying.
You know, I'd like to see some people change their handles to Schwarzeroni in his show. Just that would be fun. I mean, not that I'm telling you guys to do it, but you might want to add G65 classified to the end of that handle. It's so long, it feels like it's a code name for some operation. It does feel like a code name. All right, listen, we've got a couple of items here. You know,
they do.
And you know, it's interesting. We you know, right now the sets the moods are always difficult because a lot of them have copyrighted music. I can't tell you how many funny things George and I find. And, you know, some of these channels on the copyrighted music, they just jack you.
Well, it's everybody's music. Anybody, a musician that puts out music, of course they're going to copyright. I mean, you would do the same thing, bro. I mean, it is what it is.
No, I get it, but it's tough, you know, because there's so many great clips out there. But
snap.
Here's one.
Hold on.
We just got, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Real Rat Dog is in the house.
The Ratster. Hey, Rat Dog, what's up? Nice to see you. It's been a while, but we're happy you're here. I know.
Man, give her a bark or something, bro. Hey, Rat Dog, you know, nice to see you.
Oh, you want to bark?
Forget it. That sounds like a bitch ass bark, bro. She needs a real
bitch ass little dogs. What did you expect?
Why are you saying you're a bitch ass little dog?
Hey, I just bark like my dogs. It's embarrassing actually, but I've dealt with it for years. My wife collects, for anybody out there, we collect little rescue dogs. It's like the Franklin Mint. You have to have the entire fucking set. I've got 5 little rescues, and like every time somebody comes to the house, George hears it. It sucks. You know, they're on high security alert for anybody that's in a 30-foot proximity of the home. It's irritating, especially if it's Amazon, over and over again. All right, let's start it off. Breaking news, I've got a leaked video of U.S.-Iran negotiations.
Bak, Dirk Allah. Dirka, Muhammad Jihad. Haka Sherpa, Bakala. Oh, Dirka.
All right, Gary!
Told you he was Top Gun.
I've never seen acting that good.
He's amazing.
Just for the audience, George didn't like that one very much. I think that movie's funny, especially kind of right now. But all right, we've got an urgent message that J.D. Vance wanted to share with everybody in the audience. And I think it's important you guys get in tune with this.
Get the fuck out of bed, bitch. Go. Get up, and they got go. Gotta wake Time to wake up, bitch. Get up. Get up. Get up.
I like that.
Gotta pump it up. George liked that one. But George loves good music. I always think that's a classic. The fat JD Vance will go down in history as one of the top memes. I don't know how many memes have been made with the fat. Of course, that was kind of a Drewski takeoff, and then they turned it into Vance. Drewski did his little impersonation of a fat redneck white guy, which was pretty funny. Got to give him credit. But look, George, we all had high hopes. I know we did. I know you had high hopes. I had high hopes. We kind of hoped that the FBI was going to get, closed and started afresh, started anew. We were hoping this administration maybe would take a page out of JFK's book when he said he wanted to scatter the CIA to the winds. He wanted to close it down. He knew how nefarious they were. He'd seen lots of stuff from the Rockefeller Committee and other investigations, and that was only the tip of it. They covered up most of it. But what I think is really horrible, and we're talking about this because we just had some republishing of some declassified information, but there's lots of stuff, even in the declassified. It's funny how there's multiple links about this, and you can see that the CIA tried to cover this up. What I'm talking about are operations that were instigated against United States citizens. This isn't some operation that was run in a foreign country. Everybody hears the most common ones. They hear about Operation Mockingbird, and then they hear about MK Ultra. But there are so many other operations, so many of them that are so nefarious. Operation Sea Spray out in San Francisco was one where they sprayed chemicals into the air to make Americans sick. They wanted to test aerosol dispersal. Horrible. I mean, what is going on? And the truth of the matter is, why did the CIA get allowed to continue? I think even now, I'm not telling you that we don't need a foreign intelligence operation like the CIA. I'm saying, but do we need this CIA? Do we need to start from scratch with some kind of oversight? This is horrible. So what we're talking about here, there was a project originally called Project Bluebird. I don't know why it was called Project Bluebird. It didn't seem very happy to me. When I think of bluebirds, I think happy and fun. This is not happy and fun. And then they changed it to name. The name that it finally got tagged with was Project Artichoke, also known as Operation Artichoke. Now, this is serious stuff here, George. When you talk about a secret government program designed to manipulate Americans' minds through covert drugging and hypnosis with vaccines. Now, the vaccine thing really stood out to me. Because, of course, after COVID, you're like, what? They used vaccines to weaponize against Americans? And what they were trying to do was to create these mind-controlled, behavior-modified individuals that could be like Manchurian candidates, basically. If you've seen the movie, it would be like sleepers, sleeper assassins. They could be government officials. They could be regular American citizens. Now, George, I looked at all these files, and it got worse and worse the more I looked. I mean, give me your thoughts, man, because when I start seeing shit like this, it fucking pisses me off. Because, again, we're not talking, and again, I'm not necessarily agreeing that this should be run on foreign individuals either, an operation like this, because you're converting somebody. Maybe, let's say George was foreign or domestic, and somehow he fell into this program.
Sorry, I got to check something. Go ahead.
Yeah. So let's say he was drugged into this program. Let's say they identified George, said, yeah, we're going to go after Ballantine, whatever. We're going to use him as one of our Manchurian candidates. Here's a guy that doesn't have any intent to commit nefarious behavior against any individual. He wants to see the country fixed, but it's not like he's out there secretly plotting and planning. I've known him for years. That's not how George operates. I would be the more likely one to do something like that. And I'm not doing it. So the point is the fact that they could take a guy like George, they could drug him up, they could use hypnosis, they could use all kinds of other electric shock therapy, and then turn him into this Manchurian-style candidate and then activate him years later where all of a sudden he commits an assassination or attempts to commit an assassination. He ends up all over the news, and yet it wasn't anything to do with anything George ever believed, that he was manipulated by a U.S. government agency. Now, I don't know how you guys feel about that, but I think it's absolutely fucking disgusting. Like, this is the kind of stuff that makes me just want to go in and shut down everything. Because, you know, we hear the good work the CIA does, but what about all this crap? And here's my point. I'm concerned. George, do you think we still have programs like this going on?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, we probably do. I'm just checking because some people are saying it's breaking up Rumble. I'm not getting it on my end, people. So maybe refresh. I don't know.
All right. Well,
it's got to be
let's talk
Rumble.
about what this is. So Project Artichoke.
You said.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Just to give you and everybody out there, listen. I only allow you and everybody else out there to know what I want them to know about me. Remember that.
No, I know that. I know that about you. But at the same time, I also know that you like to fix the country legally. You would like to do it legally, and I agree with you. I think it has to be done. But the problem is, how do we fix it legally? Is there a system? You can't trust the courts. I mean, the courts are weaponized. I'm not saying all of them, but I bet you 85% of the judges that are sitting on benches are weaponized politically. Mostly, it's usually the Democrat, judicial members. But I'm not saying there aren't some Republicans that are also weaponized. I just want fair and equal application of the law, and I want the judges to do it the same way. The law is the law. It should be very simple to follow. It shouldn't take some extreme action. I'm not asking them to do anything but do what the description of their job is, George. How do you fix it legally? And we're going to go into this here in a minute, but I just don't know if it can be fixed legally.
Well, listen. Yes, I would like to do it legally, but if I had the letter, I mean, I'm gonna get in trouble.
The immunity letter, yeah.
Listen, I would do the I'd do it the other way because it'd be faster and a lot less time consuming. We get shit done, but unfortunately,
what George is talking
I
about
don't think I'm going to get that letter.
Presidential immunity. Basically, with that letter, if it was designated in there that you were authorized to clean up the U.S. government in any means possible, that would be your free get out of jail card, right? That would be the one that could get you out. They would have a hard time overcoming it. Well, let's talk about Project Artichoke. So in my opinion, this is the precursor to MK Ultra. Now, and I'm not saying one was better or worse than the other. I'm saying they're both absolutely horrendous. So this went on from 1951 to 56. It was a secret Cold War program. So they focused on, of course, behavior modification, mind control, manipulation, and they used a lot of advanced interrogation techniques. And I would even say that some of the techniques were probably right there with torture. So they wanted to, their plan here was to create and deploy chemicals and drugs, which, by the way, drugs are illegal for you, but I guess the CIA can use them whenever they want to. I guess they must have a legal drug pass, because the drugs in here that are listed are on all kinds of drug lists. They were even listed back then as drugs. But of course, as a regular American, if you got caught with them in your possession, you would go to jail immediately. So here's the creepy part. They wanted to figure out if they could slip drugs covertly into everyday items like food, water. Coca-Cola was on the list. Of course, that was one of the top, sodas especially during that time period. Beer, another top beverage, liquor, cigarettes, and even, now listen closely to this, even medical treatments like vaccinations and injections. And what they wanted to do is alter people's behavior without their knowledge. Now, that is so nefarious, because you could just be a normal guy, and they figured out that for some reason they identified you that you might be kind of weak mentally, and they figured there was a way to target you. Now, what I think is interesting, what I did see in the documents, they've got 350 different individuals that they identified that were involved in studies. Some were scientists, some were government officials that they thought might be helpful in this program. But interestingly enough, the list of people that they used this program on, that doesn't seem to exist. We don't know what Americans were exposed to this. We don't know who they did it to, when they did it to them, how they did it to them. I mean, honestly, I kind of wonder if Lee Harvey Oswald wasn't one of them. I honestly do. We had a great interview with Lee Harvey Oswald.
Good point.
Ex-girlfriend. Because Lee Harvey Oswald, in a lot of ways, seemed like he was seriously American. We believe he was working as a as an operative within the CIA and other organizations. But maybe they had done this to him also. Maybe during some of his training sessions, he got drugged. So I guess they explored a couple of categories here. They wanted to know with short and long-term compounds, which means drugs. They wanted to know if they could agitate people, cause anxiety and nervousness and tension, which I guess made them more susceptible to suggestive reasoning. They wanted to figure out if they could depress people. They wanted to cause despondency, hopelessness, lethargy. Another state where hypnosis works better. So they used hypnosis, like I said, psychological techniques. They used gases and aerosols. They used oxygen deprivation, which I guess that's their technical term for suffocation. And they used a lot of stuff to compel people to act against their will. So they wanted people to commit criminal acts while remaining unaware. So I guess the first stage of this is if they were using George or myself, maybe to try to get us to rob a liquor store or commit some kind of assault. They wanted to see if suggestive reasoning would make us more likely to do something like that. Well, could we have an underlying higher level of violence that in our regular lives we would commit acts of violence? They didn't care whether it was acts against the family or random people. So the human testing was discussed on all these vulnerable groups and the groups that they wanted to use. Now listen to this. So I guess once you become and that's the problem with this government system. Once you become a felon, they want to take away your rights. Even if it was a one-time event, they want to go after you and attack you and misuse you and abuse you while you're in there during your sentence. Anybody that did serve any prison time knows what I'm talking about. So prisoners were at the top of the list. So they called them vulnerable groups. These weren't vulnerable groups. It just so happened that they had control of their food, their water, their medical. They were vulnerable because they could just abuse them if they chose to. Same thing goes for soldiers. Soldiers were the second on the list. Can you imagine using the people that have sworn an oath to defend this country from all enemies, foreign and domestic? Can you imagine, George, how awful it is that they said, oh, well, we can use the soldiers because we have total control of them. Not treating those guys at a higher level. They just said, oh, yeah, we're going to use soldiers. What do you think of that, George? What do you think of those first two? And I'm going to give you the third group. The third group is nearly as bad, but I think prisoners and soldiers are the worst.
Well, definitely our soldiers. I mean, taking anybody is bad, but I know they'll drive around in like paneled vans looking for maybe homeless or not so much homeless, but stray people, runaways and stuff, and you're hit. You want to know why so many people disappear and you never find them? Those are the reasons why. But
well, George, you're kind of over the target because they listed psychiatric patients as the third top category to go after.
Oh, thank God they never took me.
Yeah, and those psychiatric patients included people that they thought had psychotic issues, which could have been homeless people. We're talking about people that might have had PTSD or might have had some other schizophrenia or something else, and maybe were living on the street. But how about so prisoners, soldiers, and psychiatric patients? So, by the way, those are all Americans, first off. The disgusting nature of this alone for me, if I was president and I really started to investigate these different operations, and there's many of them, that would be it. I'd say, yeah, we're going to start from scratch. Everybody would get fired, and then they would reapply for the job, and I would try to figure out some sort of an independent oversight agency to interview these people. And any people that were involved, I'm not saying a lot of these people are still around, because a lot of these operations are a long time ago. So they may be dead. They might not be with the agency any longer. But this is what your own government thinks of you, that somehow you're a guinea pig if you become a felon, if you become a soldier, or if you have psychiatric issues. That in itself seems like enough. Now, of course, Lee Harvey Oswald was a soldier. He was initially a soldier, that he was trained. And then he left, and they created this kind of persona that he was something that I don't think he was. After talking to his ex-girlfriend, and she has a tremendous amount of information. She's been attacked so many times. And prisoners, obvious, right? They can do it with food. They have total control of an individual when he's in prison. And I believe that they're still doing stuff like this. I've talked to prisoners that have come out, people I know that had felonies, served time. They had a one-off case, and they talked about some of the treatment and, some of the forced, you have to take this, just like the COVID vaccine. They tried to force every single inmate into taking that vaccine. So you can imagine now, in this situation, vaccines were listed again. And this is all unclassified information at this point. This is all open source. You can go look it up. This isn't something I'm leaking. I'm sure there's documents we've never seen that they covered up because they found documents. There was a link. George, I don't know if you want to throw that up. It's a website. This was found in 2002. This was a second round of documents.
Throw it up where?
Hidden. It's towards the top.
Where do you want me to throw it up?
I don't know if you just want to put it on the screen and we can sit alongside of it. This is more, this documentation was documentation that was not released to the federal government the first round. And they're talking about all these documents they found that the Rockefeller Committee who had investigated this never saw. And George said it best when I said, oh, they just found these documents in 2000. He goes, yeah, just found them, huh? You know, basically exactly what I think. They hid them. They hid these documents. And that's the key to it, right? That they hid lots of stuff. I think there's a lot of documents. And I'll bet that there's a list. George, I'd bet any amount of money that they know who they did this to. But they don't want to expose that because then they have a massive lawsuit, right? If you found out your family member, even if they'd passed away, everybody would come out of the woodwork if they found out their family had been put through hypnosis, psychological techniques, torture, gas aerosols, you know, suffocation. I mean, I don't know how you guys, and if you're in the chat, you tell me, if you found out one of your family members had this done to them by the CIA, what would your reaction be? Because I believe there's people out there. I think there's probably a lot of them. And the scary part is there some trigger word for these people? What if they did it to somebody really young? Let's face it, there's a lot of people that are still in their 80s, 70s. What if some of these people where we see some kind of horrendous event occurred? What if this is a trigger? So these are some
a lot of what ifs, man. A lot of what ifs, but
yeah. I mean, but am I right? What do you think?
Well, you have to think like what is the code word to set them off? There's got to be something.
Yeah.
Or a phrase or something to all of a sudden just take them out of whatever mode they're into, like assassin mode. There has to be. Imagine if you're just out with whoever your friend is, not knowing, and you happen to say the word or the phrase, just not knowing. All of a sudden now your friend's coming to kill you. Don't do it, Lance. Be careful what you say in front of me, bro. I'm telling you right from now.
That's right. Well, yesterday we had on the Mary Poppins, the Red Pill Mary Poppins, a child's author that's trying to fix a lot of what's going on in the children's publishing.
I got that site up for you, by the way, too.
Yeah, so take a look at some of this stuff in here if you start scrolling through it. Well, it's tricky.
Well, you know what? Hold on. Let me blow it up. What am I doing?
So this is what it says. They found 18 cartons that had never been released before. They were in the CIA storage agency archive. Sure, they were, and they immediately brought them forward in 2000. This is 2002 now. Now we're not talking about the recent republishing. We're talking about 2002, and it's got to do with Project Artichoke, also known as Project Bluebird, which had not previously been furnished to either the Rockefeller Commission or the Congressional Committee during their inquiries. Things that make you go, why didn't they release these documents? So there's a summary. This is a summary and description of what was in these boxes that somehow they just, I don't know what happened. We just forgot to give them to you. Sorry, we're going to do it now. So they found project literature on behavior control and drugs of interest to Project Artichoke Bluebird. And it lists a smorgasbord of psychiatric and manipulative drugs, and I'll go over those here in a minute. They found information related to the agency's drug testing interrogation activities involving human subjects. So there you are. They did it to people, but we don't have any names on the human subjects they did it to. These people could just be, they could be your grandfather. He could have been one of them. We don't know. A lot of people out there claim they were part of the MK
They're probably
Ultra.
dead, those people. They probably killed them.
Could be. Yeah, could be. I wouldn't doubt that you're right about that. Some of it was still redacted, they released, so they blocked it out. I guess, so they believed, some of this stuff is from all the way back. They started doing this. So listen to some of these drugs they used. Benzedrine, caffeine. Now, here's one, George, we just talked about. Devil's breath. They use scopolamine.
Fuck is that?
Which is the same. That's the drug that just came back into the news about Epstein.
Where are you seeing that? What page?
It's on the second page after the big line. You'll see it there. It says it starts with to 46 with various drugs believed to aid in interrogation.
You talking about the one that I'm on? The site?
Yeah, you're on that site. I'm looking at it right now. It's right after the one with the big line on it. You go to the one with the big line, and it's the next. No, go up. Yeah, there it is. That next page after the big line, that page is what I'm on right now.
All right.
Okay. So you just heard about Devil's Breath. You just heard about Epstein growing it because he wanted to use it because this is the drug a lot of guys go to Colombia because there's hot girls. And they go to Colombia and they think, oh, I'm a rich American. I'll meet all these hot girls. And I guess one of the operations is the cartels down there use hot girls. And then scopolamine is basically called devil's breath. And what it does is it puts you in a zombie-like state where you can be walked around, manipulated, sexually abused. But in this case, they're just trying to rob you. And sometimes if you give somebody too much scopolamine, you die. But it turns you into a very easy to manipulate zombie. So here's the CIA admitting they use scopolamine. Now, probably, who knows, maybe Epstein read this paper and said, hey, here's something we should try. Let's use this on some people. Of course, they could give it even to somebody that attended the party. Let's say that somebody attended that party that didn't know about what Epstein was up to. And they really weren't going to be part of it. They weren't interested in young girls. Because, you know, if somehow I'd gone to a party like that, I wouldn't be interested in young girls. I'm not, man, just keep away with me, that shit. I would have left, but who knows? Maybe they drugged me with scopolamine. Now they put you on a bed and they take some pictures of you with young children. And now, guess what? You're in the net. You've been compromised. Now here comes the blackmail and here comes the control. I'm not saying that happened to everybody that went there. I'm saying that it could be used, just like they could use GHB, they could use ecstasy. There's a lot of drugs out there that might aid in that process. They used alcohol. They used, I'm not, tetrahydrocannabinol acetate, which I have no idea what the hell that is. I'm assuming because it says cannabis, it's some kind of a cannabinoid. But there's more. LSD, mescaline, indicia, which I think must be maybe.
Mesc is pretty, if you take it right, some fucked up shit. It's pretty good.
Yeah, so meth again. And this goes on and on. Now, LSD, can you imagine? I mean, people that didn't know.
Well, we knew they were doing LSD, Lance. I mean, that's nothing. Like, we knew that. That's not a big surprise.
Now, I guess they also used it on a notorious New York gangster, but they don't give the name. One of the OSS was working with the CIA on this project. And in 1943, they gave it unknowingly to a notorious New York gangster. Now, I don't know what they gave him or what they did to him. Don't know. But listen, in this dump that happened, this hidden dump, they had films, tapes, files. They had videotapes of people being hypnotized. And there's a lot of reference material, a lot of stuff from other investigations.
These other two pages.
I'm sorry,
make
what?
you killers right here. The other two are, yeah.
So let me just finish here. We'll wrap this because I'm going to run out of pages here. So there was a budget, there was planning, the administration was involved. All this went into this was a pretty sophisticated project. And they have a box listed personnel, but they only talk about personnel that they were interested in maybe having, doctors and psychiatrists and chemists, hypnotists who were doing work or were acknowledged as experts in areas of interest to Bluebird and Artichoke. Now, this included also officials, U.S. government agencies such as NIH. Yeah, there's an organization we'd like to hear about. So NIH was one of the organizations that was doing research that was beneficial to this program. I don't know what that means, but you can read into that what you want. How about this, George? Here's another one. FDA. The FDA was involved. The U.S. military was involved. Now, I guess they say the review of this material is only partially complete and the total number of names which appear throughout this material has not been determined. So they never really come out. They kind of leave a limited amount. Now, there's references to work that was being financed by the MK Ultra budget. So MK Ultra was running parallel. So that, everybody kind of knows that program. But of course, they said they found a number of items that were contained in the collection of newly found material, which did not readily fit into the above categories. So it doesn't seem like they released that. They've got the film. They have these lists of people. But I guess there's a bunch of photos. They say they're typical tourist photos that they don't know why they took them, but maybe they were identifying people they wanted to use this on. And they talk about the drugs that were on hand. They kept these drugs in the office, and I guess there was other ones that weren't listed here, but these drugs include, and again, some of these I have no idea what they are, but I'll tell you what they do. Rodixin, described as a whole root of rofinol, like rolfin, which I believe is probably like rufinol. So that's an ethical medical preparation, supposedly they still use today. Thorazine hydrochloride, which they consider that kind of a tranquilizer true serum. Methedrine, which is meth, or a derivative of meth. Marazine, which I guess were an anti-nausea medication, which I believe is, I believe that's a commercial name for scopolamine, because scopolamine is also used as a nausea and used for people that have seasickness. If you use it in small doses, I guess it works. But when you use it in larger doses, it turns into the devil's breath zombie drug. Another one, daprazole, some kind of a analgesic, which I don't know what, barbiturate, that they used. And I guess, and they've got more, hyoscine, artane, theoporin, pamperin. I guess some of our people in the medical audience could tell us. Rebelon, Vinabel, Tolserol, which is a muscle relaxant, Benadryl, which I guess they used for allergies, but I guess it had some other positive effects for the study. Dexedrine, which is also considered, I think an antihistamine, but they also use it as a stimulant. I mean, this is what I'm going to say. We'll go on to what George has got. Crazy. Drugging Americans so they could turn them into Manchurian candidates. Unbelievable. Now, George, go ahead. Take it from there. You've got some stuff. Throw it back up. Tell me about what they were trying to create here.
Trying to create assassins, man. It's crazy. I don't know. I was just doing so much stuff right now, Lance Fiction stuff.
Let me read some of this here. So this document from 54, it was a feasibility evaluation is what they called it. Feasibility evaluation. Isn't that nice? They give it a great technical, like, oh, we're just going to do a feasibility study of creating assassins. They wanted to see if a subject could be involuntarily induced through a single uncontrolled social encounter to attempt the assassination of a prominent politician using artichoke techniques, which included what I said, the drug, the hypnosis, the mind control, the torture. This memo includes both foreign and political officials. Now, you heard that. Both foreign and domestic political officials as the primary target and American officials as a fallback option. So understand that they listed specific foreign targets, and then as a fallback, if that didn't work and they didn't get the result, then they would do it to an American. Of course, then they would probably connect it to a foreign operation, right? A foreign assassin, and that would give them the ability to create a kinetic, I imagine, war-style event. So they've redacted. They redacted the nationality and the descent. So approximately 35 years old. This is an individual they were going to use it on. Well-educated, heavy drinker. Could they be made involuntarily to perform an act of attempted assassination under artichoke influence? So we're going to pick a 35-year-old out of our audience, and they're going to be well-educated, but they're going to be a drinker, and we're going to try to force them to involuntarily perform an attempted assassination. So the primary target, and they redacted this, was a prominent politician. So, i.e., a high-ranking foreign political official, but of course they redacted the name. And the fallback target, or if necessary, an American official. So here's what we got. Let's break it down. We've got an American organization, in my opinion, operating in a rogue nature, getting ready, if it doesn't work that they're going to kill a foreign official, then what the hell? We'll just go after an American official. We'll just go ahead and kill them instead. We'll just make them the target. So the method, they were going to exploit the subject. So this is a specific individual they were talking about. They're going to exploit the subject's heavy drinking by surreptitiously administering drugs via an alcoholic cocktail during the social encounter. So you get this guy, he's out at a bar. They'll put their CIA bartender in place or waitress, and then they would just drug him. He would have no idea what happened. And after the drugging, they would apply artichoke techniques, drugs, hypnosis, behavioral manipulation to induce the subject to carry out an assassination at a later date. So that was the plan. Let's get this guy so we can control him, and then we'll let him know we're going to trigger him. How are they going to do it? I don't know if they say that, but the involuntary part, how do you guys like that in the audience? Do you like that you have a government organization that we pay for that's out here drugging Americans they've targeted so they can turn them into assassins? And that reason they can ruin that person's life. They can ruin their family's life. They can cause a major political event. This is a nice group of people here. We got this is a very nice organization, really nice people, right?
I mean, thank the U.S. government, man.
Yeah, and it's disgusting. And guys, you can go down these rabbit holes. You can look. There's a lot of declassified information. There's information on Project MK Ultra you can look at. obviously covert, illegal human experimentation, just like this. How about Operation Chaos? Here's another one, which was a domestic spying operation authorized by President Johnson and Nixon, which involved CIA agents infiltrating anti-war movements, that means protesters, and radical groups, creating files on over 7,000 Americans to prove foreign influence. By the way, they never found all the documentation, and they never found all the people that they supposedly targeted. They don't, well, we don't know. They're just some people. We have no idea who they are. You know, Mockingbird, which was 1950s and 60s, and I believe it still goes on today and under other names. Of course, they wanted to manipulate the media and domestic press, with CIA recruiting prominent journalists and media organizations to publish propaganda, influence in public opinion, and spy on anti-war activists and other protesters. Now, isn't that nice? It's nice that they wanted to control the media. Boy, do we think we have control of the media still, George? How do you feel about it? Think that under different names, maybe now it's called Project Blackbird, or maybe it's called Project, Hawk. You know, they love their little project operation names. They always.
I would like to take Project Artichoke on one of these liberal media and just turn them on all the other liberal media. Do us a favor, right? I mean, why not?
They could clean it up quickly.
Fuck.
Yeah. Code name Cleanse. Yeah. You know, George the other day mentioned supercalifragilisticexpialidocious on the show, and I thought when I was reading this stuff, I thought, oh my God, maybe that's the trigger word. Yeah, you just don't know what it is, right? And if it's a trigger word or how they get them to control. How about Operation Resistance? This was a program aimed at identifying and monitoring radical anti-war, new left movements, protesters on college campuses, often infiltrating student groups and gathering intelligence on U.S. citizens. By the way, the CIA is not supposed to be operating domestically. I don't know if anybody knew that, but CIA is supposed to be international only. Here they are, clearly violating their charter numerous times, and I believe they're still doing it now, and they're operating here on U.S. soil against U.S. citizens, which, by the way, is a major crime. To weaponize an agency like the CIA, DIA, or DHS, or FBI, when you weaponize against American people, now the FBI is allowed to operate domestically, but at the same time, these aren't people that committed a crime. They're investigating independently, no warrants, and they're just deciding, well, these are people we're going to look at. How about this one, George? You know, if you go into somebody's mail, if you go take somebody's mail out of their box and you go through it, you guys know that's a federal crime, right? Everybody knows that. Okay. Here's one called the Mail Interception Program. They ran from the 50s to 70s. The CIA operated a secret program to open, photograph, and analyze mail traveling between the U.S. and foreign countries, specifically Soviet bloc countries, targeting citizens' personal correspondence, including that of civil rights leaders and politicians. So they're opening mail. They don't have a warrant. This is their program, their project. They called it HTL. It was HT Lingual was the name of the project, HT Lingual. Now, you can look up some of the other more nefarious stuff where they ran programs against prisoners. They ran programs against minorities. They sprayed people in, San Francisco, like I told you about, see if they'd catch disease rapidly from spraying, and it's a fact. They did stuff in Miami, about where they were going to act like Cubans had invaded the U.S. and they were going to kill American citizens. That was a CIA operation. It was just going to be Americans committing crimes against Americans. Of course, they wouldn't be found guilty. I don't know if they'd kill them or not, but they were going to kill Americans so they could justify invading Cuba. I mean, does this seem like, let's just ask this, you guys in the chat, does this seem like an organization that should be allowed to continue its operation? Because their history is that of thinking they can do whatever the frick they want, whenever the frick they want it, against American citizens, committing multiple crimes. To me, this alone, let's forget what they're doing now. I believe they're doing lots of stuff now. I have reason to believe it for a number of different things I can't necessarily discuss. I think they're still involved in a lot of shit. Why is this not a bigger deal? And now we just know that they participated in the execution of JFK. We know it for a fact now by the releases. And by the way, I do not believe this administration has released all the JFK files. Because I know somebody very well, I won't say who it is, who's seen JFK files because of their involvement in the U.S. government. They saw more files than probably anybody else, even before they were declassified. And I they told me that there's stuff that they saw that they know is not in these drops. That there are documents and stuff that has never been released. Do I ever think it'll be released? This administration has proven that it only gives us partial answers, right? We're going to release the Epstein documents. We're already hearing there's a lot of stuff that hasn't been released. That we know a lot of people haven't been arrested. My point is that's what we're getting from this. We're getting partial answers. There's lots of things this administration is doing right. I'm not going to attack it nonstop, but I'm going to say stop with the bullshit. There's too much information out here. Stop with the fucking lies. Let's get those 9/11 files. Let's get Seth Rich truth. Let's get it all out there. And if somebody's guilty, let's wrap their asses up. And if you don't have the right people inside the FBI, if they can't pull the trigger, if they're afraid or whatever, let's get them out of there. Same thing goes for the Department of Justice. I don't know if Pam Bondi, if the story I heard is true. I'll just say it might be about, that she wants to release stuff, but that the administration is being manipulated by deep staters. You've heard it come from Kristi Noem and Tulsi Gabbard about deep staters. George, you tell me, what's the solution for all this garbage here? Because at the end of the day, I feel like this should be enough to just close the CIA down right now. I know it's an old case. Oh, well, those people aren't here any longer. I don't give a fuck. I don't care if they're not there any longer. I don't want somebody like her. How do I know that when I go out to eat with my wife, that they're not going to target me? How can I trust them that they're not going to drug my food? And I'm not saying I have any reason for them to do that. I'm saying, but what if they wanted to? What if they want to turn me into a rogue assassin so that they can put me all over the press, discredit all the work that George and I have ever done, act like I've always been plotting and planning to do this? How do I know that? I mean, how do you trust? Here's what I'll say. George, you tell me, can you trust the CIA?
I'm going to just make the answer easy. I don't trust anything that has to do with the government.
Okay.
How's that?
For the audience in the chat right now, everybody that's watching the show, get in the chat and you can just say yes or no. Do you guys trust the CIA? And I guarantee you, if you start reading all these different documents, and there's a lot of declassified stuff where they've been doing crazy shit to us. I just want a yes or no from everybody watching the show in the chat right now. When we come back from the break, we're going to take a look at that. My answer is a resounding no. They can't be trusted. All right, we're going to stay tuned. We'll be right back with G. Ballantine, El Miliacho, the Big Mig Show, baby. We're dropping the hammer, calling for transparency, accountability, and consequences. Stay tuned. While we're on the break, take the live link, share it far and wide. Help us grow. If you've never done it before, you just take the link, you go into your social media. Hey, if you guys haven't joined this show, these guys are great. Come on over. If you feel like that, I'm not asking you to do something you don't want to do. I'm not trying to Manchurian candidate your social media. That's not what we do here on the show. All right, stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Are you ready to stand up for your community and support your local sheriff? Join the Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association and become a vital member of the Sheriff's Citizens Posse. At CSPOA.org, we empower citizens like you through weekly webinars, arming you with the knowledge to back your constitutional county sheriff. Together, we can uphold our Constitution and ensure liberty and justice for all. Your community needs you now more than ever. Visit CSPOA.org and join the Sheriff's Citizens Posse today. Make a difference. Stand for freedom. That's CSPOA.org. Your country, your fight, your future.
What if you could predict your financial future? And what if you could trade on it? Introducing Block Trust IRA, the future in your hands. An astonishing 88,000 millionaires were created last year from the Bitcoin boom, and you could be next. Block Trust IRA is the only crypto management firm powered by AI-driven strategies, ranked #1 in the world by Bitcoin Magazine. The Block Trust IRA platform is built for everyone, from first-time buyers to seasoned investors. Predictive AI technology that was once only reserved for insiders and elites is now available to you. It's time to leave the old buy and hold strategies behind. Your assets are protected with military-grade security, offline cold storage, and $200 million in insurance. Visit BlockTrustIRA.com to book your free consultation and ask how to claim up to $2,500 in deposit bonuses today. Bitcoin changed the game. AI changes the strategy.
Hi folks, I'm here today to introduce you to the Prepper Bar from PrepperBar.com, the most unique precious metals product we have seen in a long time. These 62-gram bars are perforated and easily broken down into your choice of 3 different sizes to fit a multitude of needs. Whether it be from asset protection from inflation, economic turmoil, or its unique utility for barter and trade, the Prepper Bar makes a perfect gift for all the precious metal lovers out there. Exclusively made here in the USA and selling out fast. Available in both gold and silver, these slim Prepper Bars fit neatly in your wallet, and their utility enables use in any situation.
Forged through rigorous training and honed by the finest instructors on Earth, these canine units serve beside our nation's warriors as they fight to preserve what we cherish. When these warriors complete their duty, the Warrior Dog Foundation provides them with a home deserving of the service they've given us all. At our state-of-the-art kennels, they receive rehabilitation and care suitable for heroes, because that's what they are. Be a part of giving them a future today. Visit warriordogfoundation.org.
All right, welcome back to the Big Mig Show. Here we your hosts, Lance Migliaccio. Yours truly, George Ballantine. Big Mig Mafia in the chat, Big Mig Army out there watching, creeping up on you. Listen, if you can, if you're out there watching or listening, if you can join the chat, please do. If you're at work, I don't want you to get in trouble. I know people listening at work, so don't get in trouble. Don't lose your job. But if you can hit that thumbs up, like button, follow, we appreciate it. Even the subscribe button, $5 a month, we appreciate it too. But we just, most importantly, we appreciate you just being here. Your support is greatly appreciated, and I love you guys for that. But Lance and I, we got to talk about another sponsor because we got the perfect solution for the people that can't watch their crypto 24/7. That's why I'm here to tell you about BlockTrustIRA.com. They're bringing access to cryptocurrency wealth to everyday people. Their exclusive Animus AI trading platform works 24/7, analyzing market data and executing advanced crypto strategies that go far beyond buy and hold. And it's no surprise that this system was named #1 crypto technology platform by Bitcoin Magazine out of more than 1,500 global competitors. And clients are already seeing over 250% returns on their investments, all with military-grade security and up to $200 million insurance. Your wealth is fully protected. So don't wait. Visit bigmigcrypto.com today and see how you can join this financial revolution that's finally giving everyday Americans access to a crypto opportunity of a lifetime. Once again, visit bigmigcrypto.com today. You can get up to $2,500 of free crypto. QR code's right here. Take a screenshot, save it to your photo files. But don't go there now because I got a little surprise. Even Lance doesn't see this one coming.
Well,
I had it. And I'm like, you know what? I don't know. I just need to break it up a little bit. Listen to Daddy right now, everybody. You know when I say trust the science? I'm imploring you to trust the science on this one. Please, trust the science. Somehow we're yesterday's conversation in the chat, and I seen this. I'm like, oh, this is perfect. All right, here we go. Trust the science.
Squeezing your girlfriend's butts can make you live longer, and it's not about lust. It is a biological necessity for your nervous system. Primal biology dictates that contact with soft tissue is the fastest trigger to signal safety to the male brain. It activates specific mechanoreceptors that bypass logic and directly stimulate the vagus nerve. Most men live in a chronic state of fight or flight. This tactile interaction acts as a biological circuit breaker. It crashes high cortisol levels instantly, lowering blood pressure and reducing strain on the cardiovascular system. Simultaneously, it releases a massive dose of oxytocin. Think of it as grounding your electrical stress into a safe connection. It dissolves subconscious anxiety faster than medication. Over time, this cumulative stress reduction protects your heart and significantly lowers the risk of cardiac events. So gentlemen, consider this your permanent medical clearance. Do not treat it as a luxury. Treat it as a daily survival requirement. For the sake of your cardiovascular longevity, keep your hands busy.
That's real, by the way. That's
I like it. You can send me that link.
Yo, if you're experiencing problems with the stream, it's not on my end. While on break, I went over everything, my CPU, my upload download speed. I'm A-okay on my end, so it's something to do with Rumble. I heard somebody else say it too, but whatever. It is what it is.
Did you know that last night, I think it was yesterday, last night? No, the night before last, that it was the largest traffic ever on X. They hit traffic numbers they'd never hit before. The biggest amount of traffic ever on the platform X. So congratulations to Elon Musk. All right. This is horrible. It's horrible for a lot of reasons. Everybody knows that we're really, the country is divided on Israel.
If this is true, it doesn't surprise me, Lance, if this is true, because Israel's been known to do this. I don't know if the whole country's divided. I mean, for any women that are opposing the bombing of Iran, just think about all the women there under Sharia law that have to stay covered up, that have no rights. And you're over here always protesting this for that, this and that. You should be happy we're doing it. Like, it's sad that, we're down to 6 soldiers that lost their lives. It sucks. But, I don't think Iran even had the capability, Lance, of having nuclear weapons at this point. They probably would in the future. Mm-hmm. But it was probably a good time just to get rid of them. Because you get rid of Iran, you're going to stabilize a lot of that region. Because they were the ones that were funding a lot of the terrorists over there, Hamas, Hezbollah, all the little proxy wars. They were funding it all. So, and they fucked up. Listen, they bombed Saudi Arabia, UAE, Dubai over there, Bahrain, Qatar. Now they all want to get on that. They just bombed an English hit at an English base. I don't know if it's in Afghanistan, wherever it was. Now they want to get in. What's that telling you? But
it's over with. Iran's done.
Yeah, Iran's done. I say they should, once they conquer Iran, get rid of the name Iran, bring it back to Persia.
Yeah.
Let the people be free. But if Tucker Carlson, if he's saying, if this is true, have you been known, Lance? Have you known Tucker to say stuff that really wasn't?
He vets everything. I know some people that have tried to get on the Tucker Carlson show, and if he finds anything that isn't parallel to the story of the individuals coming on, he will immediately say, I know somebody that books for Tucker. I talk to him all the time, as a matter of fact, and they book lots of guests for Tucker. And the second his show finds out even the slightest anomaly, because of course he's got to protect his brand. His brand is of a truth guy. So for Tucker Carlson to come out and reveal that Qatar and Saudi Arabia caught Mossad agents planting bombs to massacre local citizens, I would think it would be unlikely that Tucker would put his reputation on the line and make a statement like that if he didn't have the absolute goods, if he didn't have the sauce. Let's play the clip. You guys in the audience listen to this yourselves. If this is true, man, the administration ought to be distancing themselves from this particular state. They should, first of all, acknowledge that they've vetted it and it's true. And they should probably make some public statements about how they feel about this, because this is horrible.
All right. Somebody just said my voice going in and out. It could be if I walk away from my microphone because I leave it up close, but I got you guys. Thanks.
Now, that wasn't a risk from the Israeli standpoint. That was the point. That was the point. They wanted to diminish the Gulf, and in 2 days they have. And I think anyone who likes decency and order and cleanliness is hoping that the Gulf will recover. The Gulf is not a threat to us. We have military bases in these countries. These are some of our closest allies. All of them are closer allies than Israel, by far. They're our friends, but they've been really hurt. And in a place like Dubai, which is basically part of a country, it's an emirate within the United Arab Emirates, but it's also a It's a luxury brand, basically. People go to Dubai because it's beautiful and rich and clean, and above all, because it's safe and orderly. It's got the busiest airport in the world. You start seeing video on Instagram of smoke in the Dubai airport, and you're like, I think I'm going to Cabo this year. Oh, sorry, drug cartels. Whatever. Maybe you go to Sedona this year. It really, really hurts these countries. And Israel wanted to hurt these countries. That's the point. Wanted to hurt these countries. Wanted to sow chaos and disorder because they are rivals of Israel. So it's probably not, hasn't been reported, but it's a fact that last night in Qatar and Saudi Arabia, authorities arrested Mossad agents planning on committing bombings in those countries. Now, that's weird. It doesn't make any sense. Why would the Israelis be committing bombings in two Gulf countries, which are also being attacked by Iran? Aren't they on the same side? No. No. Israel wants to hurt Iran and Qatar and UAE and Saudi and Bahrain and Oman and Kuwait. And they've succeeded.
Well, that's horrible. If it's true, and, of course, the U.S. government hasn't made a statement about this, but this is pretty crazy. Now they're saying that this Tasnim news agency is reporting the attack on the Saudi Aramco refinery was carried out by Israel, and Iran did not strike any oil facilities in Saudi Arabia. Wow. If that's true, Donald Trump better get on top of this, and we better have Pete Hegseth. They better have a meeting with Israel immediately, and then they better tell the American public, because this is not something they should just let go. Now, I did notice that Donald Trump today came out publicly, and he's mad at Megyn Kelly and Tucker Carlson. He came out and made direct statements.
Why, for exposing Israel?
I didn't get into the total story. It was over on Gateway. I saw it as I was
You know what?
in.
Listen, I love Trump, but him telling everybody, oh, you got to watch Hannity last night. What the fuck, Hannity? I can't stand that bastard. Just because Netanyahu was on there? What? It wasn't. Listen, fuck them all. But I will say, though, this came out breaking this morning that Iran, their Supreme Council gathering, this is where all the Iranians were meeting to select a new Supreme Leader. Not so fast. The IDF struck that building with a bomb. They all died. I don't know. I don't know who's left to choose a leader because they're all dead now.
I thought it was going to be Marco Rubio.
We need Marco Rubio over here, bro. Focus on stuff.
No, but I thought it was going to be just another job title for him because he's already in charge of Greenland, I think. And now,
did anybody make a meme of him yet?
I did.
I don't even want to. I'm afraid to even look at it. But okay.
I took the movie Lawrence of Arabia, and I made a movie poster for Marco Rubio the other day. I put it up online. He was Lawrence of Arabia in my movies poster from Hollywood. I dressed him up in the Lawrence of Arabia, very famous movie from the 60s.
All right, let me play the clip.
Yeah.
The scene of one of these cluster munition impacts just outside of Tel Aviv, but I'm told by a senior Israeli official that the Israelis just struck the Supreme Council gathering where the Iranians were meeting to choose a new supreme leader. This is a significant development and again speaks to the Israeli intelligence about this war. They just targeted the meeting in Tehran where what's left of the leadership was gathering to choose a new supreme leader. The Iranians are continuing their attacks against Israel. Right now, we are in the community of Bnei Brak. It's a religious community outside of Tel Aviv. And you can see where the police and first responders.
Yep. They should just keep bombing the shit out of it. I'm kind of upset that I have to, I always say, you knew the Mossad and U.S. knew where all of Iran's strategic targets were, where they're keeping all the missiles, but yet they're still firing their missiles and they're getting through. Have you seen some of the devastation or destruction Iran's been doing? And it's almost like I question them, are they allowing that to happen to justify more of what they're doing? I don't know, but You have all the damn Democrats saying, "Oh, he needs an Congress to vote on it." I said, "No, you don't. You don't. He has 60 days. He could do it. You know, go out another country, whatever he wants in that sense. Not whatever he wants, but you know what I mean." So then after that, Congress needs to vote. And I know it's funny because I had a clip. Matter of fact,
Obama
you know what?
struck
Hold
8
on.
countries. George Obama struck 8 countries.
Let me get the
without
fucking
congressional
clip.
approval
Hold on a second.
over his 2 terms. Did you know that?
Yes.
Okay.
Hold on.
So Obama had no clearance. Nobody bitched about that. 8 different countries during his 2 terms he went after. So you guys can go look it up. You can go to Google or Gemini.
I'm pulling up a Nancy Pelosi clip right now. Matter of fact, talking about Obama.
Do we have to look at Nancy? It's gonna.
Yes.
Let me get the.
Hold on. This is years ago, bro. Hold on.
Oh,
listen.
yeah.
Listen to her talking about when Obama went to war one country without congressional approval. It's all right with them, but now when Trump does it, it's not all right. TDS is very high in Democrats.
So, Madam Speaker, or Madam Leader, you're saying that the president did not need authorization initially and still does not need any authorization from Congress on Libya?
Yes.
Thank you both.
Thank you all very much.
There you go.
One quick answer. Yes. True. So why would it be true for Obama, but it's not true for Donald Trump? See, that's
Because it's TDS, bro.
Yeah, but that's the whole, the whole.
But that's why we're here, to expose them.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Forget Republicans and Democrats. They're all part of the same sham.
So,
George, this is a nasty person. I don't like her.
No, I don't like that
her.
bitch either. She's dead weight. She's like a dead fish in bed, too. I'm telling you. I could just tell. Anyway, this is Hillary Clinton we're talking about. She had the hearings the other day, her and her husband, Bill. And they now, the GOP oversight put out the video of it. So we got one where, Clinton, they say she's going berserk, yelling in a fit of rage at Rep. Nancy Mace during the testimony. And I'm just going to play it because I want you guys to hear it, see it. See the bitch.
The question. I'm going to answer your question.
Now you're going to
This was what I spent my time doing.
I'm a survivor trying to look out for other survivors, trying to
and I was taking care of the people who lost 3,000 lives.
And now you're being
at World
defiant
Trade
and
Center.
indignant today.
You asked me about
I have met
Howard
with Epstein
Lutnick.
survivors. I'm a survivor myself. You have emails. You've denied that that you tried to get Jeffrey Epstein to give money to you.
I did not.
Howard Lutnick was
If
used
you
to
have an
get
email
money,
with me asking Jeffrey Epstein for money.
I have an email from Howard Lutnick sending it to Jeffrey Epstein and his people to
I
raise
don't-
money for
I don't
you
know about-
for an event, an intimate event for you at his offices
Well,
at Cantor Fitzgerald. You're
look,
going to sit
if
here
you-
today
if you would
and,
let me
and,
finish.
and obfuscate and say to this committee, you didn't try to get money from Jeffrey
I
Epstein
didn't.
when
I
there was
didn't.
an intimate event in an email that Howard Lutnick emailed to Epstein's people and Epstein to get him to come to your intimate event at Cantor Fitzgerald, a very small event. And so I'm not going to put it. You want to yell at me, that's fine, but I'll yell right back.
Well,
okay? I am looking out for
it's
survivors.
very-
I'm doing
look.
the job that you would not do and refuse to do as Secretary of State. Thank you, and I yield back to
No,
Congresswoman.
I'm going to finish answering the question, which I have a right to do. I am very sympathetic to your personal situation. I have read about it. I have seen you testify or speak on the floor about it. And I very much sympathize with not only what you went through, but appreciate your effort to stand up for survivors. I was a senator representing the people who were murdered on 9/11. Nobody lost more people than Howard Lutnick. You can say whatever you want. You can call him and have him appear before the committee. But I knew him as the man who lost the employees that he knew intimately, including his brother.
What a cunt.
Well, I'm gonna go on a limb here. I'm authorizing the approval of Project Artichoke for anybody around Hillary Clinton. I'm authorizing the CIA to use Project Artichoke for anybody around Hillary Clinton. You can read between the lines. All right, George.
What? Oh, you want me to do it? Next one about Hillary? We're going to do one more. Here's Hillary talking. They're asking her about Pizzagate. And this bitch is like saying it's totally made up. Well, it's not made up because it's all in the emails they talk about it.
Yeah.
And she goes, I don't follow crazy conspiracy theories or stories.
Oh, sure you don't. especially when they apply to you, huh?
Yeah. Just play it. I put a special message on her forehead.
2017 speeches and interviews, you described Pizzagate as a baseless conspiracy theory, alleging you and others ran a child sex trafficking ring from a Washington pizzeria basement. Have you reviewed any 2025-2026 Epstein files that were released that you believe reference or relate to those specific 2016 claims regarding the Podesta emails, Comet Ping Pong Pizza used as code possibly?
I'm sorry, you're asking her about whether she's reviewed emails in the Epstein files which relate to the wacky Pizzagate scandal.
You could characterize it however you want. I just would like to know if she's familiar with any of them.
So
She's
excuse me,
commenting.
your question is about whether or not she has reviewed any emails in the Epstein release files about Pizzagate.
Correct.
Pizzagate was totally made up. It was an outrageous allegation that ended up hurting a number of people. It caused a deranged young man to show up with his assault rifle and shoot up a local pizzeria. I can't believe you're even referencing it. You should be.
There are connections to the language.
Well,
I'm not
the
talking
QAnon
about,
people believe there are. So
I don't know what QAnon
have at
people
it.
believe.
Have at it.
But you've accused certain parties, and I think even right now today, of promoting slow walking or information in ways that fuels conspiracies. In your view, did any Epstein-Maxwell related investigations or file handling pre or post 2019 contribute to or intersect with the spread of Pizzagate style theories about Democrat figures?
Objection.
I have no way of answering. That is the most
speculation.
ridiculously.
Have you or your representatives identified any Epstein file content that has been misinterpreted online to revive those claims? And what steps, if any, have you taken to clarify?
Again, object on the ground of.
I think that this is all very
Speculation.
reasonable.
Well, first of all, I don't follow the crazy conspiracy stories that are online. I regret that anybody does. I find it quite sad, but also disturbing that people would believe some of what is put forth, like Pizzagate. So I have taken no steps to review anything that might have any connection to something which I think is totally bogus.
Shut up, cunt. I don't know how the word got there on her forehead, but mysteriously came. So we know that we only tip of the spear, only truth here. So must be something. But it's funny, like I didn't even get any Bill Clinton clips. I mean, just seeing her is bad enough. But their lawyers were going like scrambling because when Bill Clinton asked if he thinks Bill Clinton asked this, he asked if he thinks Epstein killed himself. Hillary says Epstein mysteriously died. And Bill Clinton was just like, he was laughing at some of the pictures, looking at pictures of himself with the girls. Not talking, but just like laughing, like, look at this evil bastard. I mean, but you know what's going to happen? We get these little clips to see and stuff. That's it. Nothing. We got Govt. All bullshit. Well, Lance, so I just want to, when people say, everybody's opposed to this Iran war and Israel and the U.S., you know, when Kuwait mistakenly shot down 3 F-15 fighter jets from us, and they all parachuted out, they made it. You see the Kuwaiti people running up to them to try and help them. They were happy they were Americans. I got a little clip. I just want to play it because, you know, it's good. People support what we're doing over there.
You're fine? Really? You need something to help you? No problem, you're safe. You're safe, you're safe. Everything good? No problem. Thank you for helping us. Everything perfect?
Yep.
George, I'm going to throw a little curveball here. I was looking for it. It took me a minute.
No.
The end of the Hillary Clinton story, I'm going to dump it in here. You know, Hillary Clinton loves the denial, right? That's what the best thing to do. She's a great liar. I think she's an incredible liar, probably one of the best on the entire planet. What I think is interesting is if everybody doesn't remember that WikiLeaks released an email that people have often tried to act like isn't the truth or otherwise, where Hillary Clinton's talking about a hammer. Now, I just dumped it in there, George. She says, please bring the hammer and the toy I like to use to Comet, which is Comet Pizza tonight. Now, somebody tried to explain that email to me. This came out of the WikiLeaks drop. Of course, they went after Julian Assange brutally. Finally, Donald Trump did something about that. I mean, my point is, why did they, there's a lot of stuff. We've heard about videos on the dark web of Hillary removing a child's face. And I don't want to go into all the details because it's pretty dark. Somebody explain to me what this means. If it doesn't mean an actual hammer and some toy that she likes to use, and it says, also, if you have time, swing by the office and grab my inhaler. Nothing gets my heart going like sacrifice night. Now, let's just assume that Hillary's right. Pizzagate's a bunch of garbage. What does this email mean? It's been authenticated. What terminology does hammer and toy and sacrifice night? Somebody try to give me, are those code names for something else? Is this her code language? She sent this to Huma Abedin. Huma Abedin is now married to Alexander Soros. To me, right here is an acknowledgement that she's going to commit some kind of sacrifice, that she's going to do something horrible to somebody, bring her inhaler. I mean, if anybody can explain this to me, put it in secret. This is not a fabricated email. This was part of the WikiLeaks drop. Somebody explain to me what this means. No wonder she crushed her own server, right? She destroyed it with bleach bin and a hammer. I don't know what else was on that server. Nobody's ever recovered the information. But this is where the U.S. government ought to take action. If that video on the dark web is legitimate, and if this is a legitimate email, what are we waiting for? Why not just arrest her and then take her somewhere, maybe offshore? You can go out past the 200-mile distance, go out into international waters. I'll guarantee you this. You give me Hillary Clinton out in international waters, you give me the letter of presidential immunity, and I'll get you answers. I'll get you answers for this. I might need a trip to Home Depot first. But my point is, again, only legally, I'm not suggesting anything illegal. My point is, what does this email mean? If you're talking about a hammer and a toy, sounds like a sex toy to me, but okay. What's the hammer? Let's just take the toy out of it. She was going to bring a child a toy. Oh, she's just going to be friendly. But she says, nothing gets me going like sacrifice night. I don't know. We'll leave it right there. I love the Kuwaiti video, by the way, George. Great. Let's send some more money to Ukraine.
No.
Let's do it right now. Let's give him billions more. Zelensky hasn't bought enough luxury real estate. His parents are living in Rishbon, Israel, in an $8.5 million house. This is a guy that's giving him a raise. He gets $1 million a month as president. He gets more than the president of the United States running Ukraine with a smaller GDP. He's got property in France, a big ski resort. His wife's got a $4.6 million. That's not dollar. It's euro, actually. Bugatti. He's got a $15 million penthouse in Dubai, right? He's got tons of luxury along with his other guys, his main guys in Switzerland. They own $46 million worth of luxury properties. The list goes on and on and on. Now they just caught a low-ranking Ukrainian military commander, and this isn't the first one. We've caught him with cash. We've caught him going out of the country, yada, yada, yada. He just paid for a luxury villa in Bali. Of course, the stuff in Bali is cheaper. Hundreds of thousands of dollars get you a very nice place in Bali if you're thinking about it. But it's your money. Let me ask you in the audience, would anybody in our audience like to have a luxury villa in Bali? I'd like to have one, especially if I didn't pay for it with real money. I mean, if I can get it from the U.S. government, yeah, buy me some luxury real estate. I'll take a $15 million penthouse in Dubai, as long as it's paid for. I mean, we already heard from, I've got a very reliable source tells me that Zelensky has got $1.8 billion sitting in offshore accounts down in, of course, the Gulf of America. He's got 1.8 billion parked down there. War is business, but here this guy's name is Major Konstantin Savridov, and I guess he supplies armed forces with rotten food. And somehow he was able to buy this $200,000 villa in Bali, and all his relatives are driving brand new cars. Also, by the way, Let's show the clip. Here he is putting out the U.S. cash. By the way, that's your money on the table right there. That's your U.S. cash sitting there for everybody in the audience.
Хорошо, давай начнем. Ты деньги отдал, что забудь. Сейчас я разберусь. Мы тебя хотим поздравить. Да. Да. Не просто так, а вкусними, красивими традиціями. Значить так. Ми тобі дуже бажаємо, щоб ця інвестиція тобі була успішною, кайфовою, смачною в плані грошей. І щоб все, що ми робимо, воно було в кайф і в задоволення.
Дай Бог.
Это тебе от нас.
Ух ты. Спасибо, девочки, спасибо.
Открывай.
Тут еще что-то большое?
Да. Ну, вот так, серьезные руки. Прям уже было.
Yeah. Nice, right, guys? Now, Zelensky has gotten so many cars and so many pieces of real estate that he's found some other uses.
Do you know, and I couldn't believe this. I think I was talking to you on the phone about it, that Zelensky offered Israel and the United States that he can come with his drone killer equipment and help out if they give him money. Like, we need his drone killing equipment. What is he, delusional? I mean, really?
And asking for more money. He wants to get
But wait
paid
a
more.
second.
But listen.
But hold on. No, that the point is, so it can't be that bad over there if he's willing to come with his equipment over to Iran and over there.
Yeah.
And not
The war
need it
must
over
not be
there.
important.
Maybe Putin's not doing it good. Maybe Putin needs to send more drones. I don't know. Maybe here's mommy going to call Putin and say, yo, you need to send more drones.
But listen, I've said it before. Putin should take out Zelensky just like we took out the leadership in Iran. I don't know what he's waiting for. I don't know why he can't track him. But Zelensky's got so much money now, he's figured out some other things to use the money for. We've got a leaked image. Here he is making his newest investment. And you can't blame him. Listen, if you've already got the real estate and the cars, what do you need? You need a golden toilet, a solid gold toilet. And you can use the U.S. dollars when you got so many of them. You can just wipe your ass with $100 bills. Why not?
Doesn't Trump have a golden toilet?
There is a golden toilet at Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah.
All right. Newsom, George, your buddy Newsom, he's back at it.
He's back at it doing word salad. He's a poor human being, the worst politician, one of the worst, I should say. He's like,
George, before you go, can you show me some of the Newsom hand puppet style that he uses? Can you give me some of that?
No.
I'll do it for you. So what I'm trying to tell you is that Newsom is full of shit. Go ahead, let's play the clip.
In my state included, which is one of the most blessed and cursed states as it relates to climate. We're on the tip of the spear of climate change. Simultaneous droughts and simultaneous floods. The hots are getting a lot hotter, the dries drier. You saw one of the most devastating wildfires in American history in the middle of winter in Los Angeles in January. 100-mile-an-hour winds attached to fire. And as we rebuild, the number one concern people have is, how do I get my home insured? And how do you get a developer to develop a home that can't get a mortgage, which requires home insurance? So from across the spectrum, from financial risk to the issue of cost of living, which is universal, to global competitiveness, this is a no-brainer.
Did anybody understand what he's saying? But I'm going to say this. Ain't no way he's using our line, tip of the spear. No, I forbid it. That's some bull right there. Who does he think he
He
is?
is lying about climate change, and he just insulted us by using tip of the spear here on the show.
But you know what?
This guy's full of shit.
You know what?
That whole act, but Georgia is sick of the act where we're going to do now. You have to understand. What is all that bullshit? What is all that hand puppetry? This guy is so well groomed, he doesn't realize how stupid he is. It's the hair.
Maybe the CIA. Maybe he's running for the CIA. Maybe they got him brainwashed, bro. It's possible.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know, but we got a big win for parents here. Big win. You all should be very happy because the SCOTUS issued a 6-3 emergency order yesterday. California can no longer hide kids' pronoun or gender identity changes from parents. So there ain't no more secret transitions, no more hiding this, hiding that. Parents have to know. And that is huge. Play in the clip.
Out of the nation's capital today, where the Supreme Court has ruled on California policy regarding the notification of parents surrounding their child's gender identity. Today's ruling overturns a state law which prevented schools from notifying parents if students change their pronouns or gender expression at school. This comes after some religious parents and educators challenged California school policies aimed at preventing schools from outing students to their families. California argued students have the right to privacy over their gender expression, especially if they fear rejection from their families.
All right. Listen, do you think companies would learn from going woke, go broke? You think they'd learn, right? Well, I'm sad to say this, but 007 is 00 nothing. I don't know, Lance,
well,
you found this.
Acquired the franchise in that MGM purchase. They spent $8.45 billion. They're going woke. You guys can decide for yourself. So I guess there's a new claim online. Amazon allegedly has leaked some of this, that the new love interest of Donald Trump will be the non-binary actress Emma Corrin. I guess it's going to be his new interest. You can let Amazon know what you think. You can let the people that are still running MGM for Amazon. Interesting stuff. You guys can give us your thoughts. Sometimes you wonder whether the woke ideology will ring out with the audience. It's always interesting. I'm always open to listening to that. Of course, if you like the show, George, you know what to do. Thumbs up, comment, share, subscribe.
Wait, what?
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You go. I'm doing my thing.
Yeah, I was going to tell you guys, if you like the show a lot, you can leave us a Rumble Rant tip. You can do a $5 subscription. You can gift subscriptions. Don't forget to look at Amazon Perplexity. It's a great way to support Amazon. You got a great package.
Amazon or Rumble Perplexity?
I'm sorry, Rumble.
Man.
Rumble, yeah. My mistake.
What you doing?
So Rumble,
Trying to get it kicked out.
Rumble, and do what you can to give them a support. Do the premium subscription at Rumble. We appreciate Rumble for everything they do for us and locals. You can find our show on YouTube also. We're back on. Never got back our old account, but we've reopened. And you can find us on every podcast platform. Do me a favor. Go out to whatever podcast platforms you have, Amazon or Apple. Go find the Big Mig Show and give us a follow, leave some comments, help us propel to the top of the engines. We can use some follows and some growth on our regular podcast. We strip the audio on every show, put it up over there in case you missed an episode. Great way to listen to us at work on the slide. George, last words, my brother.
It's Taco Tuesday. Oh, I just had an echo. Why? Taco Tuesday. I need some tacos. Who's willing to give some up? See you guys later.
I might have to let it fly. Said gotta do it hella big, had to run it back again, like said had to run it hella big, had to run it back.
Are you ready to stand up for your community and support your local sheriff? Join the Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association and become a vital member of the Sheriff's Citizens Posse. At CSPOA.org, we empower citizens like you through weekly webinars, arming you with the knowledge to back your constitutional county sheriff. Together, we can uphold our Constitution and ensure liberty and justice for all. Your community needs you now more than ever. Visit CSPOA.org and join the Sheriff's Citizens Posse today. Make a difference. Stand for freedom. That's CSPOA.org. Your country, your fight, your future.
What if you could predict your financial future? And what if you could trade on it? Introducing Block Trust IRA. The future in your hands. An astonishing 88,000 millionaires were created last year from the Bitcoin boom, and you could be next. Block Trust IRA is the only crypto management firm powered by AI-driven strategies, ranked #1 in the world by Bitcoin Magazine. The Block Trust IRA platform is built for everyone, from first-time buyers to seasoned investors. Predictive AI technology that was once only reserved for insiders and elites is now available to you. It's time to leave the old buy and hold strategies behind. Your assets are protected with military-grade security, offline cold storage, and $200 million in insurance. Visit BlockTrustIRA.com to book your free consultation and ask how to claim up to $2,500 in deposit bonuses today. Bitcoin changed the game. AI changes the strategy.
Hi folks, I'm here today to introduce you to the Prepper Bar from PrepperBar.com, the most unique precious metals product we have seen in a long time. These 62-gram bars are perforated and easily broken down into your choice of 3 different sizes to fit a multitude of needs. Whether it be from asset protection from inflation, economic turmoil, or its unique utility for barter and trade, the Prepper Bar makes a perfect gift for all the precious metal lovers out there. Exclusively made here in the USA and selling out fast. Available in both gold and silver, these slim Prepper Bars fit neatly in your wallet, and their utility enables use in any situation.
Forged through rigorous training and honed by the finest instructors on Earth, these K9 units serve beside our nation's warriors as they fight to preserve what we cherish. When these warriors complete their duty, the Warrior Dog Foundation provides them with a home deserving of the service they've given us all. At our state-of-the-art kennels, they receive rehabilitation and care suitable for heroes, because that's what they are. Be a part of giving them a future today. Visit warriordogfoundation.org.